Monsters from the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the most infamous disasters in history, the Chernobyl nuclear power plant explosion. But instead of just chatting about the science and facts, we're going to have a little fun and talk about the monsters that have sprouted from this eerie tale. We'll explore both the real-world effects of radiation on the environment and the fictional creatures that have taken root in our imaginations. All right, let's start with a quick recap for those who might not be super familiar with Chernobyl. On April 26, 1986, in what is now Ukraine, a reactor at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant exploded during a late-night safety test gone wrong. The result? A catastrophic release of radioactive material into the atmosphere. People living nearby were forced to evacuate, and the area became a ghost town. The fallout affected not just Ukraine, but regions far beyond, even reaching parts of Europe. The disaster resulted in long-term health issues for workers and locals, and the exclusion zone, now a wildlife haven, still bears the scars of this event. It's a chilling reminder of what happens when technology goes awry, and it sets the stage for our monster discussion. Now, let's talk about what happens when radiation meets nature. After the explosion, scientists found that the plants and animals in the Chernobyl exclusion zone began to change, sometimes in strange and unsettling ways. Some species showed signs of mutations. For instance, wild boars were spotted with unusual deformities, and plant life took on bizarre shapes. These mutations led to the urban legends of Chernobyl monsters. People began to believe that if nature was capable of such changes, real, terrifying creatures could emerge, almost like nature's way of retaliating against human error. It's a fascinating yet haunting reality that highlights nature's resilience and its ability to adapt, even under the most extreme conditions. Speaking of legends, let's dive into some local folklore that has sprung up around Chernobyl. You'd be surprised at how creative people can get when faced with disaster. Take, for example, the stories of the Chernobyl werewolf. Yep, you heard that right. Locals claim they've seen wolf-like creatures roaming the exclusion zone, a chilling image that taps into deep-seated fears. There's also the tale of the Red Forest, where trees turned an eerie reddish color due to radiation. This spooks people into believing it's a cursed place, home to terrifying entities. It's fascinating how these stories, while possibly exaggerated, reflect the trauma of living through such a disaster. It's a way for locals to express their fears and connect with the dark history of their homeland. Now let's switch gears to the world of movies, games, and all things fiction. Chernobyl has not only inspired real-life stories, but also some seriously creepy fictional representations. From films like Chernobyl Diaries to video games like Stalker, the setting gives a fantastic backdrop for horror narratives. Players and viewers find themselves battling mutated creatures and facing the unknown, which is both thrilling and terrifying. These fictional monsters often symbolize the human fears surrounding technology and disaster. They serve as a reminder of the dangers lurking just beneath the surface. These stories take inspirations from real events and twist them into horrifying creatures that keep us on the edge of our seats. The legacy of Chernobyl and its monsters. So, what's the legacy of Chernobyl and its imaginary monsters? Well, Chernobyl remains a crucial topic in discussions about nuclear energy, safety, and human impact on nature. The so-called monsters symbolize not just the physical mutations in nature, but also our fears about technological advancements. As we continue to grapple with the ramifications of Chernobyl, these narratives challenge us to think critically about our relationship with technology and nature. And while the stories may be shrouded in myths, the lessons learned from Chernobyl are undeniably real. So that's it for today's spooky dive into the monsters of Chernobyl. Remember, whether they exist in reality or in our imaginations, they remind us of a powerful part of human history. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below.